let's move on to, this is a story that came up last week and is back again in the news, which is federal government seeking the court order to rearrest Nnamdi Kanu. Is this the solution?
Now, there are two ways around it. The first is to look at, is he a threat to the security of the nation? And the other is to say that, or to remember that he was granted bail and there were conditions to the bail. So if he's flouting the conditions to the bail, then the federal government, just like any other individual, has the right to return to court and say, look, you granted this gentleman bail and he's not meeting the bail conditions, or he's gone far beyond the limits of the bail conditions. So if they can prove in court that he has gone beyond the bail conditions, I think that they may have legal grounds to say that he needs to be rearrested. The other thing, however, is that he's fast becoming an ideology. And when anything becomes an ideology, it goes beyond the personality. So when you take him off the street, when you send him back to jail, there are people outside there who believe what he's doing, who appreciate what he's doing, and will take it farther than he can ever do. So maybe curbing some of his excesses would be nice, but we need to go beyond focusing on that individual because, like, as I said, he's becoming an ideology.
Okay, let's talk about restructuring Nigeria, which is the bigger issue. I mean, you're saying don't just treat the symptoms. Let's look at the root cause.
The root cause, yeah.
Now, there was so much money spent under the last administration in terms of doing the conference, the national conference, the confab report. What is being done about this?
Okay, the first challenge that we have is, just as I said earlier, politics was about rewards and not systems. And the challenge that we had was, I think, it's my personal opinion, that the immediate past president used the confab as a bait tool for Nigerians. And in some quarters, it almost worked. In some quarters, eventually, it didn't work. I don't personally think that the confab was about Nigerians. I think that it was a tool to give them the leverage for a second term, which didn't turn out as planned. But that aside, there was a confab. Unfortunately, the present administration officially was not part of that confab, which is why we're having the present issue that they're not even looking into it. They call it a sham. They say it's a charade. So if they don't believe in it, there's no way they're going to be looking into it. What that administration could have done better was the confab in the first place shouldn't have come at the end or the tail end of that administration. But even if it did at that time, it wasn't about everyone being selected, or the selection process wasn't seen to be fair to send so many people. Some people just feel you just brought people together, some of the people that you like, you paid people 4 million naira per month to come and talk about the nation. Why did you have to pay that much to people to talk about their nation? If they really want to talk about the issues in this nation, they should sponsor themselves. If they really want to talk about the issues that are affecting us and fix this nation, nobody should have been paid. That's why I said it's my personal opinion that, that it probably was supposed to be a leverage for his second time, and unfortunately it didn't work out. So what we need to do really is, number one, we have laws. Number two, we have a National Assembly. If the senators do their job very well, if the members of the House of Representatives do their jobs effectively and efficiently, we don't need a confab to get things done. The senators and the honorables just need to come to the House. You're already the voice of the people. What the confab would have done is to bring forward the opinions and the grievances of the people. That's why we elected senators and members of the House of Rep. That's what they should do.
And you know, this whole division on ethnic grounds, I mean, we had the threat by the Arawa youth, which thankfully has now been suspended, you know, to the quick notice that they gave the Igbos. But even looking at these people who claim to be youth, they're quite old. Like, are they really representatives of the Arawa?
Let's start with who's our Minister for Youth and Sports Development. And without any intention to cast aspersions on this person, how old is he? We need to have ministers that are in their 30s as youths to start with. And if we have an official age for youths, for example, being pegged at 35 or a maximum of 40, depending on the organization that is defining youth right now, then it will trickle down. Yes, I understand people in their 50s people in their 60s, referring to them as youths. You can't change the fact that some of them feel youthful, but their youthfulness is relative. However, there are some youths who share their opinion. So they may be fronting, or they may be speaking the minds of some people, really. It's just that they have the voice. They are the more influential people. The ones they claim to be speaking for don't have the platforms that they have. So we can't disregard the fact that they might really be speaking up for some people.
Can we expect to hear this threat down the line?
It's been there for a very long time, and I think that it's going to reoccur because people feel threatened. If you, on the international scene now, it's exactly why there's xenophobia in South Africa. People feel threatened. Now, the reason for the threat really is not the people that are coming into your land or into a place that you call your home. So many people have gone irresponsible, or they just laze about. They don't want to do anything. And then you find visitors who are hardworking, who are getting things done, and you feel that they are taking your jobs, they're taking your land, they're taking your resources. So when you see that happening, instead of getting to work, you think that they're taking all that you have. So that might still happen repeatedly. However, one of the things that I like is what the president has said when he said that every Nigerian has a right to live anywhere. And one major thing we need to do to correct this issue is, for example, when you're filling a form, let's stop putting state of origin. Let's expunge it completely from all of our forms. I checked into a clinic some days ago, and they asked me for state of origin. I said, you don't need it, and I'm not going to fill it. They asked me for religion. I said, what has that got to do with the cards I'm filling? So some things should go off our forms. Replace state of origin with state of residence. Because when you're doing a national budget, the state of residence, the population in the state, has more impact on the budget than the state of origin. There are people who have never been to their states of origin since they were born. They might be in their 30s. So what exactly do you need my state of origin for? So those are some of the issues.
Okay, thank you so much for being a part of the show, Fola Daniel. We're going to go on a quick break, but don't go anywhere because Rubbin Mind still continues. Stay with us.